The air crackles with tension. It's election night 2024. Millions of Americans huddle around television screens, their faces illuminated by the flickering light. The fate of the nation hangs in the balance. Every vote counted, every state a battleground. The race is tight, too close to call. Whispers turn to murmurs, then to a roar as the early results pour in. But as the night wears on, a familiar chill settles over the nation. The unthinkable. Could it be happening again? The possibility sends shivers down the spines of many. The spectre of 2020 looms large. The very foundation of American democracy feels fragile, like a house of cards teetering on the edge of collapse. The world watches, holding its breath. Will America weather this storm? Or will it succumb to the forces threatening to tear it apart? The year 2020 left an indelible scar on the American psyche. The images are seared into our collective memory. The then President, Donald J. Trump, refused to concede defeat. He sowed seeds of doubt about the integrity of the election. These seeds took root, blossoming into anger and distrust. His supporters, fueled by misinformation and conspiracy theories, refused to accept the results. They claimed without evidence that the election had been stolen. These claims were repeatedly debunked by election officials and courts across the country. Yet they persisted. The rhetoric escalated in the weeks leading up to January 6th. Trump, in his final days in office, continued to stoke the flames of division. His words, laced with anger and resentment, painted a picture of a nation under siege, a nation where the very will of the people was being subverted. January 6, 2021, a date that will forever live in infamy. The world watched in horror as a mob of Trump supporters, spurred on by his words, stormed the United States Capitol. The images were shocking, the violence unimaginable, the sacred halls of democracy breached, lawmakers forced to flee for their lives, the peaceful transfer of power disrupted. It was an assault not just on a building, but on the very principles upon which America was founded. The wounds of that day run deep, the divisions more entrenched than ever. The question remains, has America learned from the mistakes of the past, or is it doomed to repeat them? Fast forward to 2024. The air is thick with déjà vu. Trump, back in the political arena, is once again making claims of a rigged election. His target this time? The crucial swing state of Pennsylvania. He alleges widespread voter fraud, echoing his unsubstantiated claims from 2020. He points to alleged irregularities in mail-in ballots, a familiar refrain from his playbook. His accusations, however, lack concrete evidence. Trump's rhetoric, once again, is inflammatory. He uses phrases like stolen election and rigged system, further eroding public trust in the democratic process. His words, amplified by social media, spread like wildfire among his supporters. It is crucial to separate fact from fiction. The claims of widespread voter fraud in Pennsylvania and elsewhere have been repeatedly debunked. Numerous recounts and audits have confirmed the accuracy of the 2020 election results. Election officials, both Democrats and Republicans, have affirmed the integrity of the voting process. Courts across the country, including those presided over by Trump-appointed judges, have rejected lawsuits challenging the election outcome. The evidence is clear. The 2020 election was free and fair. The claims of a stolen election are baseless. They are dangerous and undermine the very fabric of American democracy. The stakes are higher than ever. If Trump were to challenge the 2024 election results, it could plunge the nation into a constitutional crisis. The possibility of violence, fueled by misinformation and partisan anger, is a very real threat. Imagine a scenario where dueling slates of electors are sent to Congress, each claiming to represent the will of the people. Imagine a scenario where state legislatures, influenced by partisan pressure, attempt to overturn the popular vote. The potential consequences are staggering. It could lead to a breakdown of law and order. It could erode public trust in democratic institutions. It could, ultimately, threaten the very future of the American experiment. We are at a crossroads. The choices we make today will determine the course of our nation for generations to come. It is time for all Americans, regardless of political affiliation, to stand up and defend democracy. We must reject the politics of division and embrace the principles of unity and respect for the rule of law. We must demand accountability from our leaders. and hold them to the highest standards of conduct. We must be vigilant in our defense of truth and reject the lies and misinformation that threaten to tear us apart. The future of our democracy depends on it. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the 2024 election landscape. If you found this video insightful, please consider giving it a thumbs up to help more viewers find this content. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next video. We have a lot more to uncover. And of course, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. Your perspective matters, and together we can continue to explore these important stories.